Hello and welcome to another episode of Molby on the Spot. This is me, Trev Downey, and I'm joined, of course, by Mr. Jan Molby to do a little bit of a look back on what's been a very eventful period of time since we last podcasted. Jan, we were looking ahead, you and I, to the big week of cup matches before we last spoke, and then we had international fortnight. So let's get back into it. Good evening, Jan.
Yeah, good evening, Trevor. It's been a while, and well, there's been all sorts happening, hasn't it? You know, some not so good, and some things that are okay. So yeah, it'll be an interesting hour, I hope.
Yeah, all sorts is a good way of putting it. And it's been, let's be honest, mostly crappy for the last couple of weeks. The international fortnight was not much respite because we were dogged by the Trent story that wouldn't go away. And it seems to have a lot of legs at this point. And I think it'd be fair to say, would it be right to class you as completely unsurprised when that news broke? I imagine you were very much like me and that, well, yeah, that was coming because the kid himself had said nothing about wanting to stay, Jan.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Trevor. And it is one of those things, isn't it? I mean, you know, the publications, they're desperate to be the first ones to break the story. But once you saw the source, you kind of go, well, as far as I'm concerned, Trevor, nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. I think the same about it today as I did 3 months ago. In my opinion, it looks like he's going to move, but nothing has been confirmed. Trent has said nothing, Liverpool said nothing, Real Madrid has said nothing. So the people who still have a hope that he might sign for Liverpool will still have that hope because nothing has been confirmed as of yet. And that's not because of what we heard in the last couple of weeks. But as I said, we've had that feeling for a long, long time that he looks like he wants to try something new.
So during the 2 weeks or so, in the period when the story came out, as you say, nothing official, but some of the better known and better respected journalists coming out and saying that it seemed to be a done deal or it was on the way to being done. We got treated to the specter of an awful lot of previous Trent interviews in which he was speaking about how there was only ever one club for him and he was a hometown boy and all that type of thing. And so what struck me about that is not that I've no interest in going off on the kid. Like you and I have spoken before often about how short a footballer's career is. And it's absolutely your right to do whatever the hell you wish to do with that short career. I think people can overplay the duty that anyone has to a club. So a lot of people trying to sell that like Liverpool made this kid, he owes them everything, etc., etc. I will say this though, and again, tell me if I'm wrong here or if I'm being naive. Whereas it's absolutely his right to do whatever he wants to do, the very fact that he has never at any stage since this contract stuff started said the phrase, I have no interest in leaving Liverpool Football Club. He hasn't echoed those previous sentiments and said, hey, this is my club. I want to win loads of stuff here. I want to stay on and become captain here, which is, again, echoing previous sentiments. The fact that he didn't do that, to me, that just speaks volumes. That for me is what's underlining the fact that he will be on his bike.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, I don't know whether I got this wrong or not, but I think his last contract, he signed a 4-year contract, which is also unusual, Trevor, because normally you sign 5-year contracts. And I just wonder whether Trent and his camp would have thought, if I ever want to try something else, how do I get out of Liverpool? Because Liverpool was set a fee that is highly unlikely any club is going to want to pay for the right back. So they might have said, well, okay, it looks like if we're going to get out of Liverpool, if that's what we want to do, let's sign a 4-year contract and take us to 26. And that would be our easiest way out of the club, because we are talking now, and we hear people saying, well, we're talking about a potential 70 million to 100 million euro. Let's keep it in euro player leaving Liverpool. Yeah. Well, I don't think Real Madrid would have been interested at 70 or 80 million euros for a right back, isn't it? So, but I agree with, which is slightly different, I guess, to the comments made by, and the only people you can put in this similar situation is Steve McManaman and Michael Owen, isn't it? There's also interviews there where they said things, isn't it? So it is tricky, but a player's loyalty, Trevor, is to a football club while you're contracted to that football club. And there's not a single person in the whole world who can complain about anything Trent has done in that period. You know, he's more or less available for everything. You know, I think when we look back, and this is my whole thing with, so how will he be remembered? Will he be a legend? I don't think that is that important to him. But I just think that the people who've been there with him, Trevor, and we've been there with him, haven't we? We've been part of it, winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League. You can't unsee what you've seen. You know, I've seen Trent play. I think he's a bloody marvellous football. I can't unsee that. Then you can have your own personal views in terms of whether you think is right or wrong. And a lot of people feel this thing about because he's leaving on a transfer. You know, he could have done more on a free transfer. He could have done more to maybe make sure Liverpool got a transfer fee. But it's difficult to unsee what you've seen. And I've seen a bloody marvellous footballer. And I'll never, ever forget that. That's for sure. So that's the thing with fans, isn't it? You make up your own mind. But I don't think there's any need for anyone to thrash his ability as a footballer because he does not deserve that.
Yeah, and again, whereas I have sympathy with people who are miffed at the way that this has happened, I can't get on board with jersey burning and people referring to someone as a rat or whatever. Like, it's, you can be sore about it in the moment, but like, you have to have that balance that you said. Look, about weigh up what we've gotten from the kid over the time he's been here, where, you know, it has been a remarkable run, and there's an argument that we may well have seen his best years as well. Who knows how that works? But it's seeming to me, Jan, that an awful lot of these guys who come through very young, increasingly, they don't tend to last the pace when they've played a huge amount of ball in those early years from 18 to 22. It can have that sort of effect. Now, that's not a prescriptive thing across the board, but it can happen. There is a situation where we could well have seen the best of Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool. And look, whereas I won't go as far as saying I'll wish him well at Real Madrid, I think that would be completely lies from me. I can't say that. I will say that, like you, I can't unsee, it's a good way of putting it, I can't unsee the great things that we saw from the kid.